We just got a great model into the clinic today, so I can really demonstrate to you guys exactly what a slip disc is in more detail, and you can really understand why in many cases certain treatments just don't help. Now, with the spine, and we'll talk about lower back slip discs because they're the most common, although it can occur in the neck and other joints of the spine. But in essence, it's caused by too much pressure going through these discs that causes them to bulge and put pressure on the nerves, and sometimes you can get pain down the leg or in other areas of the body. In most cases, if not all of the cases of slip discs, it's because there is too much pressure on the spine. And that can be because of bad posture. For example, your body goes forwards. That puts more pressure through these sections of the spine, which starts to wear and irritate those discs and put more pressure through them. Now, the biggest mistake we see when patients try and get this better before they come and see us, they may have been to a GP or other practitioners that have referred them for exercises and other treatments, is they do one critical error, and that is that they do flexion. Things like knee hugs, those sorts of things. Now, what a slip disc is, invariably they bulge towards the back. Although if you actually look at them on MRIs, in most cases they're bulging to the front as well. But the nerves are on the back, so that's where we'll look at, because it's the most painful area. When you have a disc that bulges, you get pressure coming down on the spine. Stretching doesn't do that, it's pressure through the spine. When we bend backwards, we don't tend to put the same amount of pressure on the disc, and there are studies on this which show the amount of pressure that goes through the spine and through the disc and how they change depending on which position you're in. But when you have pressure on the front of the disc, you get that. Now, you have to remember, when you wake up first thing in the morning, you're not particularly sore, that's happening, you're just bending forwards like that. But doing these repetitive knee hugs or repetitive forward bending activities are doing that. Think of this like your knee. If you've just had a cut on your knee joint and you go to sleep, and we'll use the elbow for example here, sorry, and the cut starts to heal first thing at night. You don't then go and bend the elbow because you rip the wound open. So doing flexion exercises for things like slip discs is really not helpful. Although if the disc material is completely out of the way, then it can sometimes give you relief, but in the long term it does not help patients at all. So next time you're suffering with a slip disc, or if you know someone that is, make sure they're not doing that key error. It's very, very important. Flexion, forward bending activities with slip discs, do that. You don't want to do that or risk doing that if you have a back injury that's related to your discs.